How's it going, guys? Welcome back to another Far Cry 5 map editor tutorial video. It's your friend FallenNinja, and today we're going to talk about sound points and sound volumes and how to effectively use them in your map so that you can give the map a bit more of a style and overall just give the theme of your map a better feel. Alright, so the first thing I'm going to do is just show you an example of what can be done with the sound volume and sound points, as well as scripting, which is very important for this. And from there, I'll show you exactly how to get these things done. So let's go ahead and get into the map editor. So what I did was I set up in this part right here a trigger that if I walk in, a sound is going to come out of right here from this area. So check it out. You hear that explosion go off? It's coming off right here from a sound point that I put in the map. Another trigger is if I break this egg or any breakable item, the sound is going to also come out from there again. Oh, you heard that? Then the other one is using a view or a look at trigger. So right now this wall is blocking the trigger, but as soon as I step over to the side, it's going to activate and make the sound go off. Alright, easy enough. The other thing here is a sound volume that we put into the map. So this sound volume is going to make the sound of the game change from your regular sound, I don't know if you can hear that, to a more of a church type of sound. Can you guys hear the difference there? So everything's a bit more enclosed, and you can actually put different versions of this and modify your map to the way you want it to sound like, which is really good for interiors. And then here I have another one, but also I place a sound point that's always looping. So I'll get more into that later, but for now you can hear this sound point at all times. Perfect. Alright, let's go into the editor and I'll show you exactly what's making this stuff work. So right here I have a script. Now what the script does is that it spawns an explosion sound. For some weird reason, Ubisoft decided to put the sound points that only go off once, like explosions, bullet sound, nuclear bombs, that kind of stuff. You can put them down, but they won't do anything unless you put a trigger. Or you put a script with a trigger. It's kind of complicated. But then other ones, like this one here, which is like a air conditioner sound, will always play no matter what you're doing, unless I think you can delete the item with the trigger or with the script, but if you don't do that, it's gonna just play as a loop, which is very useful. So the way that this works is, let's delete everything, show you how we get this all set up. Alright, so we're gonna start off with a blank plate, and I'm gonna show you exactly how to get everything set up for your specific scenario. So let's say you want to have an explosion go off. Go over to your sound points and find one that works for you. Let's say you want to have a distant dragon roar. You hear that? It's pretty cool. Now the issue is if you just spawn this right here and then you go ahead and you play test your map, you're not going to hear anything. Check it out.
Assault.
See, nothing, no dragon roar, nothing. And I haven't figured out a way to make it work without actually setting up a trigger for it. Well, it's very unfortunate, but we can work around that using our awesome scripting tools. So what you want to do is you want to go over to gameplay, scripting, script. I like to put my scripts below the object that's being affected. That way it's easier for me to work with later. Click on the script. And then you want to do add action, spawn object, pick object. I'm going to pick the sound point, and then you want to select a trigger. Go back to scripting, trigger volume, and then just link it to the script. Now if you want to get multiple use out of one sound, on the script plays, you want to set that up to once per trigger. Now, do note that once per trigger doesn't mean that you can activate the same trigger multiple times. It means that the script will work on separate triggers. All right, so that's set up very easy. Now let's add another trigger. And for this one, let's make it so that when we break an object, that script will play. I'm gonna set this egg. Let's get a bigger egg. This eagle egg right here. I'm going to set down a trigger event right below it. Click on it. Now the event is on object destroyed. Pick an object. I'm going to pick the egg. And then I'm going to trigger the same script for the sound. So both of these are going to activate the exact same script, which will in turn activate this sound. All right, and then the last one that I'm going to set up is the trigger look at. I'm going to place it right there. Set the radius to about 14 and have it trigger the script. Perfect. Now, the step that's left is to test everything out and make sure that it works. Awesome. So the view script works. Now with the view script, one thing that I want to let you guys know is make sure that it's not underneath the ground or behind any objects, because the objects do affect it. Oh, I dropped it. That's cool. That worked. One script that spawns in that sound, and we can play it 3 different times or however many times you need to. Obviously, depending on your budget. If you're on PC, you can always download the object limit remover tool. But let's try out the other one. Okay, so for the sound volumes, they're even simpler. You go to your audio and visuals, audio, volume, and one that I like a lot is the church one because it makes everything sound very like loud and I don't know how to say it properly, but it just gives you that nice like deep sound that reverbs the audio back and forth. So it's really good, really cool if you're making a cave environment or a indoor environment. Make sure you use that one for your mapping needs. And then sound occlusion preset, all that means is the percentage that you use will block out the sound from the outside of the volume. So if something's really far away and they're shooting, you probably won't hear it if you put this to 100%. But anyways, once you put that down, you want to test it out and make sure it works. Assault. And for me, the perfect way to test it out is to shoot outside of the volume. All right, and then shoot inside of the volume. And you can hear the tone different and the way the bullet sound bounces off, not realistically, but off of the walls, and it gives you that feeling. Perfect. And then the last one that we want to do is we want to do a sound point that correlates to an object. So an easy one is if you search for conditioner, it's going to give you an air conditioner and a air conditioner sound point. So this one actually, if you get close to it, you can hear that it's always running. And do note that you want to make sure you put this where you will think the object kind of makes the sound from. I would think that where you hear the air conditioner sound the most will be right out of the vent right there. So I'll put it right in front. One thing that I want to note is that the sound points are very buggy. I've had them work sometimes, not work other times. So you always want to set up a trigger with something that makes it work, whether it be whenever the first wave starts, the first wave of enemy starts, or you walk into a certain area, or you look at a certain direction. That way you can always be sure that it's going to work. For example, this one here, I've had it work, I want to say half of the time if I don't put down some triggers. That's going to be it for this video, guys. And if you enjoyed this video, please leave a like, comment, and subscribe. See you in the next one. Peace.